think early on in the game, SM is one of the first companies or conglomerates that I know of who's actually realized the value of, or what's happening in the industry, or what's happening with the audience, specific to the audience. Majority of the population in the Philippines right now are really young. When I say young, relatively below 30. And what that also means is that we have to provide our customers a different experience when it comes to shopping, and that's where mobile comes in. It's not just because, I'm not just saying this because of the mobile penetration in the country, but again, we see mobile as an enabler of providing a different shopping experience. But I think beyond just making sure that your phone is with you, is the engagement that your phone brings you. Just recently, we launched one middle of this year, which is our iButterfly campaign, and it was a successful initiative, and I can say one of the major factors for that was because it was fun. I mean, the mall experience has always been, the intention of the mall and the mall experience has always been like that. We want to make sure that people have fun inside our malls, inside our stores, and we might want to make sure that it's something that they find value. So for us in the future, probably we're looking at into initiatives similar to that, or something better than that, something that will make it, something that will make that customer pull out his device, check it out, or open an application, and go to the store. And we want the experience to be not automatic, or not just not automatic, but really want it to be because it's something that is fun and shareable. I think the Filipinos are the more, I can say that the Filipinos are very creative when it comes to the mobile initiatives. Even though there's not really a very big population of smartphone users out there, but the apps that I'm seeing so far are very, I can say, can compete with whatever is available in outside of the Philippines right now. But I guess in terms of promotions, it's really predominantly an SMS country for me. If you look at, but again, it depends on what kind of metrics, or what are your objectives and what are your measures. If you're looking at metrics in terms of media impressions, awareness, case studies, etc., I would go definitely with the smartphone devices because they are richer in terms of engagement. But if you're really targeting like success rates, redemption rates, definitely the volume of the SMS is still there. So I guess in the country right now, compared to the other Asian markets, a lot of the Asian markets, especially the mature markets, are really just focused on smartphone devices, which is, I think it's good, because I think we're also headed towards that direction. But in the country, I think it's really has to be a very good mix. I would say it has to be very hybrid. It doesn't matter if you're just, I think if you're just using a smartphone, if you're just focusing on smartphone engagements, if you talk to retail companies like us, I mean, we would tend to look at other options, or would say ask for additional options beyond smartphone devices, and really try to target the volume, the volume of the market, which is primarily SMS or legacy phone owners. I would say that it's big, and it's part of it primarily because we're trying to take advantage of the data that we have. We have a lot of mobile numbers that we need to still clean up, fine-tune, and take advantage of. And primarily, those mobile numbers we're using SMS. In terms, and the way we use it is, I would say, it's the same way that you're using the other tools that we have, or other marketing tools that we have, like EDMs, etc. So it's the answer really there is that it's big for us, and the direction really for us is how to make it, as I said, something that is more engaging, more relevant to our customers using the more richer smartphone devices. You will also notice in the SM group that for our malls, we offer free Wi-Fi in most of our services, and primarily that is targeted towards mobile users. Initially, the plan was, because when we started this a few years ago, we were looking at the traffic that we're getting inside the mall, and primarily the traffic we're getting inside the mall are mobile users. It's not laptops or notebook access, but it's primarily iOS, Android devices access. So that's already gave us a glimpse in terms of the internet or the usage habits of people using the free Wi-Fi. And the target really there is still mobile, how we can use this information to make sure that we're pushing the most relevant information to the people who are already inside the mall. In the West, especially in the US, there's a lot of e-commerce is very big. Online transactions is very big. To the point that e-commerce and mobile transactions are almost the same. I mean, when you talk about e-commerce now, it's not just about going to a website, working in your online transactions. It has already been integrated and part of mobile applications. So I'm assuming that is where it's coming from. But in the Philippines, I guess we're not there yet. There are a lot of good online stores in the country right now, or in the market, available in the market right now, but I don't think we're there yet. So I would say that it's a different case in the Philippines. I think in the Philippines, a lot of the retailers still has the same objectives, which is primarily drive to store. I mean, if you're a customer with a mobile device, regardless if it's a legacy phone or a smartphone, how can I bring you to the store and make sure that you go to the store because I'm delivering you the most engaging, the most relevant content and the best rewards for you. I mean, at the end of the day, that's us Pinoys. I'd go to your store if I get something back. Well, primarily for SMS, looking at the SMS market right now, it was not what it used to be a few years ago, where a lot of the VAS are really coming on board, and a lot of VAS service providers specific for MS are really coming out with a lot of creative stuff. The realization also for us is that specific for SMS is there's some tendency for people not to use text anymore because VAS service is deductible from their current load, and a lot of prepaid customers has to maintain a number of amount for them to continue some of the free services available with the prepaid. So the volume of VAS service providers we were expecting to is not as big as it was before. So that's how do we move away from that? How do we change that ecosystem? How do we come up with something that would still make the customer do that extra transaction? So that's primarily for us. Number two, in terms of the smartphone devices, though we're seeing a lot of smartphone device access inside our mall, but that's actually because of the free Wi-Fi. So the challenge for us is how can I target them outside of the mall? I mean, thank you that they're inside the mall and using the free Wi-Fi, people target them, but outside of the mall, they are not. Some of them still use a lot of postpaid accounts, and they don't normally use their devices for internet access outside of the free Wi-Fi. So that's for us. I mean, how can I continue the good experience they had in the mall outside and still be able to touch them and bring them back to the stores or bring them back to the mall? The success of any SMS campaign, going back to what I said a while ago, really it's similar to your EDM engagements. You have limited content that you can really use or broadcast using SMS, and it has to be very engaging. I always go back to engagement and relevance, because we're a retail store. I mean, we're not just all about awareness, but really for us is drive them to the store, drive them to, because they know that the things that they want is in the store, because they know that the things that the rewards and the promos and the discounts are available to them in that store. But it has to be relevant. So we make sure that and every time we do this SMS broadcast specific to our target market, and of course using the SL Match card data, it's the most relevant information we can get.